people said, are you going to get a selfie with the president? And I'm like, I don't know. But the generation we live in is this selfie generation, which is so like about self, and it's about what you can take from a moment instead of stopping and listening. And you said that the why behind it was, we want to have not a photo, an in-depth conversation. And I think we need that. We need to move past the, hey, here's what I do. Hey, can I get a photo with you too? Hey, you doing okay? Yeah. Like, how are you feeling? Are you isolated? Let's do this together. And I think that is one of probably the most powerful things I've picked up here. And it's a heart that's come from you both. And I think it's inspiring, and I want to be around more of it.
Well, all of you are I think, representative of the talents and capacities and creativity that we're seeing here at the summit. And part of our goal is to figure out, how do we support work that you're already doing, and then how do we get the 15 and 16 and 17-year-old versions of you guys to help create more and more of you over time, because my strong belief is that you will be able to come up with those answers if we're able to break that isolation, and if you are able to see that you're not alone, because sometimes this work is hard, but in fact that there are a whole lot of people out there who are doing it, and that we can learn from each other. So it may turn out with the work that you're doing, Cassandra, that entrepreneurship on the reservation could really make a difference in job creation. Instead of looking for resources from the outside, what do we have from the inside? Well, you might check out what Daniel's doing, and maybe he can give you some tips in terms of how to set up some sort of business idea. And, conversely, you may end up thinking, as you're supporting immigrant rights and how first generation young people are making their way, some of the lessons that can be learned from the experience of the oldest Americans, those who were here first. So, the one issue that I think all of you confront those is how to make sure that you stay in touch after a summit, because we don't want this to be a one-off. And my hope is during these dinner conversations, during these breakouts, etc., you guys are exchanging information, and feel free to take selfies with each other after you have. That's what I figured. But what's the role of online communities? How do we take those and then also move them offline, so they're not just Instagrams and hashtags, but they're also something more substantial, something more real? How are you using social networks to build your organizations and what you're doing?
I think for me, being first generation, being one of the first people in my community to speak up about issues like racial justice or getting people into the room, I very much use it as a platform to let people know what I'm thinking. So in hopes of empowering the other young people that I'm connected to in my family to also speak up about the issues that they confront. So for me, it's a real form of empowerment of my voice and sharing that, but also it's a tool to reach out to younger people who are now very much on Instagram or very much on Twitter and Facebook that I sometimes cannot reach because I might not be always in the community. I might be moving around, but I know I can stay in touch and see how they're feeling and how they're doing through this platform. So yeah.
Are there ways that you're encouraging them, though, to take action in their communities, in addition to saying they like your comment?
Yeah.
Because I think one of the concerns I have with young activism is people think the hashtag and this and that is actually getting something done. And sometimes it's spreading information, but over time it's got to translate into actual activity and people meeting and gathering.
Yeah, I definitely resonate with that. I think usually there's an action item associated with for me. You share the articles and do those things, but it's very much, hey, donate to this fund, or show up for this meeting, or this person's organized, apply for this fellowship. And so it's all about resource sharing for me as well.
Excellent. Sandra, how about one thing I'm interested in, by the way, is access, digital access, because when I was president, my priority was to make sure that we got a lot of broadband connectivity into rural communities, but sometimes there are patches where that's not always the case. A, is the access working? And B, have you been able to use some of these digital platforms to help advance your work?
Yeah, I love that we're talking about this because I feel like we, in the life of activism and advocacy, we're forging a path as this younger generation. And sometimes it's really difficult to feel the support that we need, and it feels oftentimes lonely because we're in our own worlds. But what I've been doing here is I didn't want that to be my experience. And so when I meet people, I ask them, why are you here? What is important to you? At the end of the day, when you don't have your millions of dollars, as I sit across dinner here in front of a billionaire, when you don't have that money, when you don't have those properties and that big car to take with you, those fancy things to the grave where we all grow or go with none of this stuff, how do you want people to remember you? And so I've been asking them this because when I go back home, I'm going to take these reasons and I'm going to share it with my friends and my family and these organizations and say, listen, we're not alone in this. There are people from all around the world that are trying to make good change and that are good people. And these are the things that matter to them. These are the things that matter to us. We are one of the same. We're a movement and we have power here in these times where oftentimes it feels like we don't. But I want to use that to reclaim our power and instill that and share that information when I go back home. In the reservations, we don't have access, and that's part of why our voice gets suppressed. We live in some of the most desolate lands. And so what I do with technology is I always am going back home to the reservations and I'm bringing those conversations and using my platform with my following and social media to share these messages, the struggles that we have, using our nonprofit Pandos to elevate that voice, to raise that voice up. Because we're not alone in this. You'll realize, and what I see is that a lot of times people don't know that in the United States there's 3 sovereign powers. And these sovereign nations between the U.S. government, the state level, and these tribal nations, what people don't realize is that dynamic and how powerful it is and how we have to work together and how it's a beneficial relationship if we talk to each other and we have that dialogue and we really put away the phones at the dinner table. In fact, that's something that I try to incorporate with my friends is you bring that basket here, and I encourage you guys to do this too and try this initiative when you go out with your friends. Put a basket on the table, say phones here, and whoever picks up the phone first has to pay for the dinner for everybody else.
That is a really good tip. Now, I will say that when they came into the Oval Office, they had to leave it outside because otherwise they couldn't come in. But I enforced it at the dinner table as well with Malay inside. We're out of time, but I want Daniel, obviously you're doing stuff in Australia, but these days markets are everywhere. How do you think about exporting what Thank You is doing to not just other products, but also other markets?
That's a cool question. I think from the start we always had a dream that this could be bigger. You know, we found out in America people wash their hands as well. So the hand wash, they do it with water all the time. So we're like, it's a global idea, and so we're launching in New Zealand. That's the first country to kind of take it on.
Well, closer.
Yeah, a little closer, and maybe one day it'll go further. But I think a big part of the thank you story isn't just here's what we've done and we'd like it to go further. And, you know, we want to make a bigger impact, that's fine. But it's actually what can you do with your journey? And I spend a lot of my time speaking, particularly in schools, to younger people. Just finished a while back a tour of like 10,000 9-year-olds. And that makes you feel old when you're 29 and they're 9. And
wait till you're 56.
But like, it's going, hey, yeah, you can sponsor a child and that's cool, but you can use what you have in your hand, your passion, your career to make an impact. You can make decisions now where you're going to, you know, put your energy and your time to leave this world better than you found it. And I think that's actually part of thank you. It's spreading that message and our products one day too.
Well, if you've enjoyed this conversation with these amazing young people, then it's giving you a flavor of what's happening all throughout this summit. We're going to continue to be sending out all these live events that are coming out of this summit, and hopefully you guys are going to continue to tune in at Obama Foundation. And if you are interested in any of the outstanding organizations that we've heard from, at the end of the summit, one of the things we're going to be able to do is to list connections and contacts so that you can potentially get in touch with Mandeep or Cassandra or Daniel and see how you can plug into the great work that they're doing. Thank you so much, guys. You did wonderful.
Thank you.